Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the OCNJ Local, your podcast for everything happening here in America's greatest family resort. We're your hosts, Dominic Doherty and Drew Fazy.
We are your local guys.
Drew, man, first bad day, weather-wise, we've had in a long time. It's been a good stretch here as we get into the dog days of summer.
Wasn't bad. It was cool. Wasn't too bad.
It wasn't as bad as Nights in Venice was. That was quite a thunderstorm we had roll through here on the night of nights.
Yes,
was
sir.
it not? Whoo, man!
Sir.
The skies opened, the streets were flooded, lightning. Mother Nature put on her own fireworks before Ocean City, put on theirs. It was wild, man.
Yeah, it was a heck of a storm. It only lasted 20 minutes. It rolled through, and the party was back on.
Yeah, it was great. I remember I live, about a block from the bay, pretty close to one of the bigger canals, and everything went quiet when it rained, other than the thunder and lightning that was just torrential downpour. And then as soon as it stopped, music's back on, boats are going, people are cheering. It was as if nothing ever happened. And, from some of the social media pictures I saw, people got some amazing shots of the lightning, and the sunset after that storm was one of the best I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, beautiful sunset. It was.
So, you had 100.
I just want to say real quick, Dom, that I saw a few people, not many, but a few people on social media criticizing the city for not canceling the parade. And I just want to say for the record that I don't know when we, gave up our personal responsibility and are just relying on, Big Brother to tell us when to get out of the rain. I mean, I didn't personally give up my personal responsibility. Everybody was looking at the same weather forecast, right? If you didn't feel comfortable going out on your boat, then don't go out on your boat. And if you're the captain, you're responsible for yourself, your passengers in that vessel. So if you didn't feel comfortable, then just don't go out. Don't go out, get wet, and then blame it on somebody else. Blame it on the city for not telling you, not to go out. That really, that really gets my goat a little bit. That people would complain about that.
And I'm sure that, if you were out there and you made the choice to go out there and that storm rolled through and you wanted to dock, someone's going to give you a spot real quick. Not every boat slip in Ocean City is full. I mean, just about. But, you had 131 boats decorated in the parade. You had 175 homes that participated in that contest as well. Best in show over 25 feet was the boat number was 263. The name of the boat was the Shanty, from the Toner family, and the theme was "No one likes us, we don't care."
That was a good one.
And best in show under 24 feet, ironically, the only boat that I saw all night long was number 248, CV, from the Callahan family, and it was the Philly cheesesteak. It was pretty good. They had the actual cheesesteak on the side of their boat.
Yeah,
I believe it was a Whiz with as well too.
It was. They had a jar of Whiz. Yeah,
they did. It was a good one. That was
definitely a lot of people did. The boats did a nice job this year, and there was a good amount of them. Yeah,
and it was great to see. The Philly Fanatic was there. Being the Philly Fanatic, that was awesome.
Gritty.
I didn't see Swoop. I don't know if Swoop made it.
Swoop was there. I didn't see him either, but I didn't see him. He was advertised to be there.
But hats off to everybody. We're super happy that we were able to get that night in. Like you said, Drew, some people, they're planning their next party already.
Yes, so they are.
They put a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort into making that a special event here in Ocean City. So, hats off to all of you.
It's a great event. It's a great event on the bay.
Yeah. And Drew,
the Miss Night, is that where you were going?
That's exactly the question I was going to ask you, Drew. Great minds think alike here.
Yes,
Who was the winner
The
pageant.
winner of the Miss Night in Venice pageant was Kayla Edgington, and she was sponsored by Kessel's Corner. So congratulations to Kayla.
It's all those cheesesteak tips, 100%.
That's right. So, hey, Dom. So I didn't know this until after we did our last episode, but I do want to bring it up because it's a story worth telling. So,
Not like
la-
most of your stories, though.
that's right. That's right. So last year's Miss Night in Venice, one of the participants was Mackenzie. Excuse me, was her daughter, Mackenzie Helfenstein's daughter, Andy Lynn. Unfortunately, as you know, Mackenzie was a local teacher, coach, and wonderful person. Loved in Ocean City, just loved and admired by many people. And she unfortunately passed away. Uh, uh, Andy Lynn was running for Miss Night in Venice, and there was another contestant. Her name is Charis Holmes, and on her own, Charis went to the Miss Night in Venice pageant committee and gave all of her proceeds to Andy Lynn in an effort for Andy Lynn to win the pageant. She was an 18-year-old girl who did that on her own, and that shows an awful lot of heart and an awful lot of character out of a young lady. And I just wanted to, mention that and give a shout out to Charis.
Way to go, Charis. It's what you do when people aren't watching. That's what makes you who you are. So
That's right. That's right.
kudos to you. Well, it's hard to follow that one up, Drew. Thanks for setting us
It's
up
a good
here.
story. It's a good story.
It is a good story, Drew.
Yeah.
It's probably the best story you've told me in 3 years. So, but no, man, that's great. What a great thing to do. And congratulations to this year's winner.
Yes.
Way to go out and do something for the good of the community on a night like that. So
Yeah.
awesome. But anyway, let's get into it today, Drew. We're halfway through the season. We're at the peak, the pinnacle of the tourist season here in Ocean City.
Midsummer.
Midsummer, man.
And this is the peak.
Yep. August has started. Schools in Pennsylvania are starting again here in 2 weeks. We got 30 days until Labor Day.
That's the
That's
countdown. Is
it.
30?
30
Wow.
days, man.
Wow.
So, and it's been an eventful summer here. A lot of, controversy in the beginning of the season with the new regulations on the boardwalk, the curfew, the no backpack rule, the closing the beaches, lots of stuff going on.
And again, by all accounts, if we're going to recap that, by all accounts that I've heard anyway, what the city did is working. The parties on the beach are gone. The disruptions on the boardwalk are gone. I won't say that there's no, petty theft or some nuisance, but to the level that it was, the boardwalk is back to being the boardwalk, the Ocean City boardwalk that we all know and love.
Well, we have our first guest ever here on the OCNJ local, and he'll be able to give us a real inside perspective on that.
Yes.
Prior to the commotion in the beginning of the summer, there were some things that took place in the off season that also changed the dynamic. Well, I shouldn't say it changed the dynamic, but changed the cost, or
Yeah, so let's just get to it. The city during in the spring increased the cost of the beach tags, and they increased the cost of parking, both the metered parking and the surface lot parking. And one of us on this show is a little more upset by this.
The accessibility of what it
Okay.
is, Drew. They changed the accessibility of Ocean City.
They changed the
That's the way I
cost
can put it.
slightly. So as you can tell,
Slightly, Drew. Slightly,
yes.
Drew. There
All right,
was
so let's go.
a 25% increase in parking, 100% increase in beach fees.
All right, so let's
For a
let's let's
daily beach fee,
all right,
100% increase.
let's deal with the numbers, with the
Okay,
facts. Okay.
let's go.
So the beach tag pricing was increased. Daily fee went from $5 to $10.
100% increase.
That's 100% increase. The weekly rate went from $10 to $20.
Another 100% increase.
The seasonal rate went from 20 to 30 if you were buying preseason, and 25 to 35 if you were buying after May 31st.
So it was actually the best deal to buy after May 31st. The lowest percentage of increase was with that one. So, but again, here you go. And
so I ended up Dom. I ended up talking to Frank Donato.
Well, what about parking? We didn't talk about parking.
Parking.
Let's
All
talk
right,
about
all
those fees
right.
first,
Okay.
and then we'll get into the money man, the guy who counts all the beans here at the city.
So the parking by ordinance, Ocean City could charge a maximum of $20 at any of their city parking lots. The ordinance was changed to charge a maximum of $25. Now, keep in mind that those maximums are on peak days, holidays, and weekends. There are times when those lots are only $10 a day or $15 a day.
I haven't seen it less than 20. No, I've seen it at 15. I've seen it at 15.
Yeah.
I've seen it at 15. I'll give you that one. I have seen
so that's the maximum. That was done by ordinance. The meters. So there's kind of different areas of meters. You have Asbury Avenue. That's one component from the city's perspective, right? And then and different pricing. And then you have the beach block and side street pricing.
Yeah.
So the beach block and most of the side streets, I wouldn't say 100%, but most of the side streets increased from $1.50 per hour to $2 an hour. So that's a 50-cent increase per hour. Mm-hmm. The Asbury Avenue, which is the bargain of bargains, went from 25 cents per hour to 50 cents per hour. So yes, that is a 100% increase, Dom, but 50 cents per hour, are you really going to complain about?
Listen, parking is parking. In Ocean City, it is the most coveted thing outside of actually having a home. The next
all right, let's talk. I agree, but let's talk real life. If I said you can go to Boyer's and get a cheesesteak.
They have a 15-minute spot out front, Drew.
But yes, they do. But if you had to park in a meter and it cost you 50 cents to park in a meter to buy a Boyer's cheesesteak, would you or would you not pay that 50 cents?
100%. I think you can still. I think on the meters in Asbury Avenue, though, you can still put in like a quarter or a nickel or a dime and get like the fraction of the hour.
You can no more nickels. I think you can still do dimes
and quarters, and you can still get that fraction of time. We haven't switched over to the app yet where you have to buy an hour every time you park in a spot. I was down in Wildwood, and if you park in that zone, there's no meters anymore. There's just a pole that has your zone on it. You download the app. You have to buy an hour. You can't buy anything less. If you're going to be there for 10 seconds or 10 minutes, you're buying it for an hour. And their parking was far more expensive than Ocean City, actually. I will not lie. At least in the zone that I was in, it was like $37 for like 8 hours. So needless to say, I drove another block and parked for free.
Right. And I think we do have the app in Ocean City.
We do, but I think it's still linked to a meter. I don't think it's linked to a zone at the way it is in I think Stone Harbor has the zones. I know Wildwood has the zones.
Right.
My wife made a good point though. She's like, the only thing better in these apps would be if they knew how many cars were parked in that zone and how many spots were available in that zone at the same time. And you could look at the app and say, hey, there's one spot available in this zone. Let's go there and park there.
Your wife's a genius, as we all know. She ought to
Oh,
develop that.
100%.
She should develop that app. So
Well,
couple interesting things. So
so with all this increased money, how are we doing? How are we
all
doing
right.
there,
Well,
Mister?
I'll get there in a sec. But
Uh-huh.
so beach tag sales and parking are the second and third highest revenue generator in the city behind taxes. Um, I thought found that to be interesting. And there are 27 parking lots in the city. 18,
27?
27. 18 are
Really?
city owned and 9 are privately owned. Yes.
There's
27.
18 city parking lots? I can't think of more than 4 off the
I
top of my
can
head.
I can go through. Well, there's Alpha, Beta, Delta, Baker, Echo, and Foxtrot. They are manned lots. There's Charlie, which is a permitted lot.
Okay.
There's Golf, which is metered and manned, and then there are 8 metered lots and
Okay.
2 non-metered or manned lots. Yes, free lots, and I'm
Oh.
not telling anyone where they are.
I don't think they're anywhere where
And
you want to park anyway.
that's right. That's right. And there's 9 privately owned parking lots.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, as far as the income generated, I didn't get that information. Frank said that really it's
Now, who are you getting this information from, Drew? Because you didn't tell us
Frank
that.
Donato. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry.
No,
Frank Donato. I talked to
I don't
Frank
think you did.
Donato. Frank is the city's chief financial officer, and really good guy. His wife works for the school district. He's got 2 beautiful little girls. He's been with the city for a while. I don't know how many years, but um, it gets high praise from everybody, including fairness and taxes. And if you deal with revenue or taxes in the city and you're getting praise from fairness and taxes, you must be doing a pretty darn good job.
I mean, he does such a good job that when CIL needed a CFO, they were like, "Hey, can we borrow this guy for a hot
Yes,
minute?" And we were like,
yeah,
I don't know about that one, but we'll see what we can do."
should have, in my opinion. But
You
that's
know,
I
it's
don't
like,
even remember how that shook out. But
hey, can we borrow AJ Brown for a couple games? We need a guy on the outside.
it's a
I
little
don't
different
think
than
so.
that. But
I don't think so.
But I did get beach tag information,
Ooh.
beach tag revenue information, and it was pretty interesting. At first and foremost, Frank told me that the military tag program that they have has increased every year. That's really doing a good business,
What's
which
that,
me
Drew? What's the military tag program? Because I'm not
uh,
even familiar
uh,
with that.
the military tag. Okay, so that the city provides beach tag. So if you are a veteran, you get a free beach tag, an individual tag. If you are an active duty member, you receive a tag for yourself, your spouse, and your children for free of cost, free of charge. And he said that's
If
been
you're watching this,
increasing.
if you're not watching this on YouTube right now, my jaw is on the floor. But keep going.
That it's free. I know you don't expect anything to be given away by the city, but for
I'm
free.
just listen. I appreciate everything that they do, um, and they fight for my freedom. They let us do things like this and have these podcasts where we can go and say whatever the hell we want. And only a few people can complain behind their computer keyboards. Um, but like, what about us? What about us? Come on, man. What about
Well,
us?
so if you're going to choose a group that you want to give free beach tags, it wouldn't be you, Dom. It would be vets, in my opinion.
It's fine, Drew. I can afford it, and I'll take it. It's fine.
Yeah. Um, so the city did expect
But
some
that is
wonky
pretty awesome,
sales.
actually.
It is good. It is. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And
And I know I did
it's
see too.
increasing every year, which means that there's more veterans coming to Ocean City, which is a good
I
thing.
I did see where the VFW, I believe, has a vacation program as well
Yes.
too, where they give some active duty members who are staying up at Fort Dix a week long. They have a condo, they get beach fees, they get all kinds of stuff from local businesses. So,
The
that's
condo is donated by someone.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's a bit hefty donation for a condo owner for a week. So
And
shout out to
local
that program.
businesses, you're right. Local businesses all chip in, and they get meals and different activities, rides for the kids, all kinds of stuff. It's a great program. I agree.
Yeah. So
Um, so the city
wouldn't mind
did.
a nice staycation program one day though, True. Wouldn't be my local staycation program.
We're going to move on. The city did expect, from experience, they generally see lower sales the year of an increase, and then the following year things are back to normal. Um, and they did see that early on, that beach tag sales were down about 7,000 tags as of May 31st, out of 100+ thousand. So it's not a huge deal, but it sounds like a lot.
Roughly 10%.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot.
And
You're down
then
10%. That's a lot.
a little less than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And they continued to be down through June, because, as you remember, the weather in June was not great, right? It was cool, it
No.
was rainy, we had rainy weekends, so the sales remained low. However, uh, July was a boomer for beach tag sales.
Nice.
In 2022, revenue from beach tag sales were about $700,000.
A
And then,
month? Woo.
yeah, they sold $700,000 worth of beach tags in the month of July last year. This year, they sold $1.2 million in beach tags in the month of July.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
And
when every one person counts as two all of a sudden, you should expect to double your revenue.
we're going to spend an episode dissecting that phrase of yours, that when every one person is two. we
Hey,
need to
man,
we need to dive into that one.
listen, you're getting $5 from them before, and now you're getting 10. It's like they have an extra person with them.
That's right.
So, but
Um,
that's good. It's good for the
yeah,
city. I know, like we said before, they finally paid their lifeguards, so maybe some of that money can go to help offset that contract. So big lifeguard races tonight, Margate Memorials.
that's right. Margate's tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites. It's starting probably in about 5 minutes here from the time we're recording this. So, but
So
if you don't watch it,
I
go
wanted to
ahead.
finally mention on this, Don, before we move on, that so the city was conservative, within the budget. They estimated a total of $5.2 million in beach tag sales for this year, and Frank told me that we've already hit that number. So
Whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
so we're going to be well above that for the year.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. That's good. Good to know. Good to know.
Yes.
So very interesting. It seems like the city's doing well with their fee increases. I wonder how it is impacting the local businesses though,
Let's
because
find out.
that's my concern here. That's my thing. Like, you know, when I couldn't find that word earlier, the accessibility of Ocean City for people. At this point, you look at it, gas is 6.50 a gallon and plus. Tolls, it's $7 to $10 in tolls to get on the island. Now you're paying $20 to park, and you're paying, if you have a family of four, you're paying at least $20 to get on the beach. If you got kids over the age of 12 and they need beach tags, you're paying $40 to get on the beach. So before you even sit down in the sand and stare at the ocean, you've spent just about $100 to come to Ocean City. So how's that impacting everything else? How's that impacting our local businesses? How's that impacting particularly the busiest section of Ocean City this time of year, the boardwalk? So we're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors. And when we come back, we will have our first ever guest here on the OCNJ Local, Wes Kasmark, owner, operator of the Surf Mall, and head of the Boardwalk Merchant Association. So stay tuned. We'll hear from Wes. He'll give us the inside scoop on what's going on the boardwalk. All right, everybody, welcome back. With us on the podcast, our first ever guest. Drew and I are getting into the 21st and a half century here, getting guests on. We have Wes Kasmark, owner operator of the Surf Mall and head president of the Boardwalk Merchants Association. Wes, first and foremost, thanks for taking the time to meet with us today. We know you're super busy this time of year.
Thanks for having me, guys. And that intro sounded a lot cooler than it actually is. But thanks for having me.
No, to be honest, Wes and I go back a long time. Both of us are locals. We went to mainland. Drew, don't tell anybody.
OC guys now, though.
That's right, man. That's right. Everybody, you got to move up in the world sometimes, I guess.
That's it. Sometimes, yeah. Yep.
But I know Wes's brothers well. We all swam mainland, so got to
be back.
Did some surfing with Wes and his son a little while ago.
I'm sitting over here being a perfect gentleman, not saying a single word about mainland.
Yeah. You know, I the first time it hit home that I was an Ocean City guy was when I went to the mainland Ocean City girls basketball game with I went with Dr. Baruffi because we have a history when we were on school board together in Summers Point. And, you know, his brother coaches here. And I walk in the mainland and I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is the first time I got to pick a side here. Like, it's like I'd only been in Ocean City for about 2 years, and I kind of realized I had to pick. So right then and there, decided I guess I'm a Red Raider now. So,
there you go. Good choice, Wes.
Now this is the question to go back to one of our episodes. Drew, would that be the moment that Wes officially became a local when he ditched his alma mater?
Oh boy.
Yes. If he ditched mainland for Ocean City, then absolutely, I'm making the call. He became a local that minute.
There you go.
You got to be with the kids, right? I mean, that's you got to do it, you know.
Definitely.
And Paul Baruffi was who's retired from Ocean City High School now, but wow, what a great coach he was! Great coach.
Yeah. And Dr. Baruffi was he and I had a great relationship in Summers Point. It was actually one of the hardest things to do was telling him I was resigning because I was moving here. And then I had joked with him because I knew he was an Ocean City guy and he lived in Ocean City that I may one day have to come out of school board retirement for him. And then when he got here and asked me if that still held true, I was like, no, just kidding. I'm like, you guys got it.
Not with what's going on there now, Wes.
And it was about that. Yeah. I've seen, and it was probably about 6 months before COVID hit when he asked me that. And I don't think anybody enjoyed being on school board during that time.
No, they did not.
Yeah,
they did not.
Tough times.
But you're still always giving back to the community, still always, going above and beyond, as president of the Boardwalk Merchants Association. Drew and I, leading up to this, we kind of talked about, what was going on there in the beginning of the season with these wild parties. A lot of people were upset about the curfews and the, limitations or restrictions that the city put in. How has that affected the merchants up in the boardwalk? What are you guys seeing? What are your people saying?
Well, before you get into the now, Wes, can you give us a kind of a front row seat of what was happening back at the beginning of the season?
So really, I think the behavioral changes you saw with the kids started a little bit, really started right around sometime during COVID, maybe after COVID. But, as we spoke before, like we grew up in the area and, I was a kid on this boardwalk like these kids. I mean, and me and my buddies would get into the same kind of stuff normal teenagers would get into. Things like shoplifting, though, and disrupting businesses just was not on our agenda. We weren't like great kids. It just wasn't something we thought about doing, really. So I'm not really sure what cultural shift changed. Maybe kids being pent up in the house for a long time. I couldn't begin to guess what changed in that way. But you definitely saw over the course of the past couple of years an increase in shoplifting, a significant increase. Like when I grew up, when I was working here as like a high schooler, if we had 4 shoplifters all summer, that's all we had. And I mean, it got to a point like last year, heading into this year, between me and my brother and I operate the surf mall together. And between our 2 businesses, we would probably have the police in here 10 to 12 times a day. It got so out of control. And I thought the police did an excellent job. The only thing that kept it from going completely nuclear was how fast the reaction time of the police and how well they would handle it with these kids. But it got, I have to admit, it wasn't until Memorial Day weekend this past year that I really, like, for the longest time, I was like, it's kind of, it's a pain in the neck, but, kids will be kids. But I had never seen it so out of control that weekend. First time I was on the boardwalk, and the kids were just there were so many of them. They were so they were very feral. It was very, for lack of a better description,
aggressive and
just the shoplifting was bad, but just they would come in like now I'll admit, Surf Mall lends itself to these kids. It's a big open place, and they're here a lot anyway. But I had never seen them come in so often with such a mission just to cause disruption. And I will say this too, it is not generally the only positive on this. It's not the locals. It never was. It was a lot of out of town people. So at least our people are somewhat respecting where they live. I don't think it was that, but a lot of people were coming in, and then a lot
of people from the mainland, I think.
Definitely from the mainland,
Drew, the mainland, right?
Not necessarily mainland regional, but definitely other towns that they normally probably wouldn't have been coming here, except for that there was the beach parties and things like that. And I understood why the police were doing what they were doing. They could have all the kids in a centralized area. They could control the environment with them all being there. But I think it worked until it didn't. And I applaud the city and the police for realizing, what we were trying to do just wasn't working anymore. So that's why you saw such a crazy amount of restrictions, and you saw other towns follow suit. I mean, I think Sea Isle actually did it before us, but they really had a strong campaign to change what was going on. And I'll tell you, it has definitely worked. It has definitely made it much more manageable, much more normal. You still got your kids, and we still have shoplifting and stuff like that, but way more manageable than it was the past couple of years, and certainly after Memorial Day weekend.
I noticed that I was up on a Saturday night, which is not normal for me, but I was up there, and this was 2 weeks ago, and it seemed like the Ocean City Boardwalk of old. Peaceful, a lot of energy, a lot of people, families. It was, to me, Wes, it was beautiful to see.
Yeah, you certainly, it was definitely back to business as usual. And you could argue it's the first time since probably 2019 that's what we've got, because it's just been a crazy couple of years for a lot of obvious reasons, So yeah, it's been much better since, for sure.
Nice.
That's great.
That's good to hear. You say business as usual. For you and all the merchants on the boardwalk, this is your time to, make that money, get things going, get you through the year. What are you seeing? How are numbers? How's business so far?
When people ask that, a lot of times just the way things have changed in the last few years, as far as payroll is way higher, cost of goods is way higher. So we raise our prices. So if I compare numbers from last year, it looks better, but it should look better because all my costs are up.
Wait, hold on, let's stop here. So your numbers went up, so everything should look better, Drew, right? Who else did that this year? Drew, huh?
I won't comment on that.
We just had a conversation, Wes, about the increased beach tag fees,
right?
Parking meter fees and parking lot fees that the city increased. Dom's a little tweaked about that, as you can tell.
Yeah, there are plenty of merchants who have their concerns with that as well. But to get back to your question, I usually can't be sure where I'm at. I'm always like, ask me after Labor Day. I'll know then, because it's much more nowadays. Just kind of like how much is in the bank at the end of the year, and not how much I'm making, because it's kind of like not relative. You know what I mean? Like, I better be beating what I did the year before, because everything costs more. Payroll's higher, that kind of thing. But
you hearing from any other, just a general sense from other boardwalk merchants?
Yeah. So, I think this summer, the way this summer is tracked so far, again, it's kind of like a summer that we used to have, that we were accustomed to, prior to COVID. We had a great Memorial Day weekend, arguably records. Like, I had my best ever. Like, it was awesome.
Congrats. Good for you guys.
Yeah. June was pretty strong. The 4th was okay. The way the 4th fell just on the calendar, from a merchant standpoint, isn't ideal. You prefer to have the 4th of July fall on like a Friday or a Monday. You get a long weekend. When it hits Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you don't get that like massive like 3-day spike, but you do get like 5 pretty good days. And then traditionally, and merchants are awesome at complaining about this every year as if it's like brand new, but we'll lose like the 2 weeks after, kind of drop. And I think you'll see that a lot of times because weather doesn't, you got hot, muggy days, which we had. So we were like not, the numbers weren't super exciting, but it was kind of like par for the course if you go back to what we were accustomed to. And then you get to like the last week in July and the first couple in August, which is where we are now. And we've had like obviously the best weather you can ask for the past week. And everyone's all of a sudden super happy again. So, merchants are, we're a funny group. When business is good, everything's awesome, and when it's not good, nothing's good. That's kind of how we roll. And the minute we have a bad day, people have that knee-jerk reaction that it's all about to be over. But
it's interesting, that timing, because that kind of coincides with the real estate rental market.
Yeah,
you have a big Memorial Day. June's kind of slow, starts picking up a little bit. July 4th, you have a big bang, and then it normally trickles down a little bit for about 2 weeks, and then you really get into the peak of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And weather is always a big part of it. That hot, humid, like better part of July, and that was also 4th of July weekend. Like last year, 4th of July fell on a weekend, and it was nice, but it was chilly. So like it was perfect for people like us, because like the beach wasn't like super ideal, and it fell on a weekend. This year it fell on a Tuesday, and it was really hot, and it was excellent beach weather. So that's what people are coming for. They come for the beach and the boardwalk. So you got to have the good weather. So but that, like today was a very busy day for us. It's Friday. It's the last day of the week for most of these guys, and they leave tomorrow. So Friday has historically been our best day of the week anyway, because people know that at least in the retail business, maybe not so much amusements, but it's their last day, so they're going to spend everything they have. And then when you add in an overcast day, it's a great shopping day. So we were running around like crazy people all day today.
I happened to be up on the boardwalk at 10th Street, and it was remarkably busy up there.
Yeah. We had a good day. And when you get into August, like you don't know how many more of these kind of like spike days you have left. We got like 2 more weeks where you have that opportunity, and people start leaving. College kids start going back, and some of the Philadelphia local kids start heading home before school starts. So the season is it's a grind. It's like the days are long, but the season's quick. Like you're at Labor Day before you know it. It's
30 days. 30 days.
Well, we have, as Dom mentioned, we have 5 weeks in August this year. So hopefully that extra week is good for you.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. When Labor Day falls the way it did, this is overall great, much better for us. Yeah, for sure. Nice. Yeah, when you tack on like August and it kind of goes into September a little bit, yeah, it works out really well. You get that last week into September pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. And then you mentioned that some of the merchants have some concerns about these increased fees. Would you mind like just kind of elaborating on that, what you're hearing, how they feel about it? Overall, is it a good thing, a bad thing? What's your guys' take?
Well, I mean, I think, as a business owner, you worry that people have these like costs, and then they get, they have parking costs, they have cost of gas, they have all these things that they have to spend before they get to us. And we're like, let's face it, like, you don't need that Ocean City sweatshirt. You know what I mean? Like, it's a nice thing to
Yeah,
have.
you do. You definitely need that.
You
You gotta have
absolutely
that's
need
the
that.
memories. You gotta make them. You gotta take it.
It is funny you say that, because when I was in Costa Rica over spring break on a surf trip, actually,
Nice.
first thing, it was a super expensive trip, and I told my wife, I'm like, I don't need any t-shirts, I'm good. And then we got to the last day, and I'm like, okay, I guess I got to get a Nassau t-shirt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you gotta
don't
get
need
the
it, but
t-shirt.
you end up getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We
Sure.
went to the Virgin Islands this year. I got, I bought a t-shirt, I bought a sun shirt, I bought coasters, magnets, a leash for my dog. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, do I need this? No, but yeah, come on, why not? You're
Well,
here.
and that's the thing too about our business. Retail in like the global general sense is really hard these days, because of, like, the way online shopping is and things like that. I doubt my kids will know what a mall is. It'll be some historic kind of thing. But when you're on vacation, this is like fantasy retail. Like, this is the one place where you kind of let it fly, and you'll spend that disposable income a lot quicker than you would if you were like at home. So I think for us, it's always it's like kind of like Christmas time for them. This is when you just you spend it. So
yeah.
Especially when you have the grandparents
Yep.
up on the boardwalk with the grandkids.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the grandparents are buying them something.
Oh, for sure. Yep, no doubt about it. And kids have disposable income, and I will say, if there is a positive with minimum wage going up as high as it is, kids have more money than they used to, because they're getting paid quite a bit more than they used to. So, and for people like me, we have a lot of kids that shop here, so I mean that find a silver lining in everything, I guess. But that's probably one of them.
Well, you got all the stuff. You got all the stuff kids want there, man. You got the cards, you got the posters, you got the t-shirts. You guys even have some of your own like brands and lines going too. So, you got a lot of stuff going on there that's pretty desirable. You have a cool little surf shop in the front too. It's got some good stuff. Fireworks.
We try to have it all. That's the idea, that they come in and they don't need to leave. Getting what they need. And just real quick to piggyback to the other things. I mean, merchants will always have concerns about price raises in anything. I'm not going to I'm not a councilman or anything like that, so I don't know the ins and outs of what this is. We live in an awesome town. There's a lot of like amenities that without that kind of income, we'd probably have a hard time for us to. Their costs go up just like ours. So I mean, I don't know enough to sit here and be like, I just hate the increase because I hate the increase. You know what I mean? I'm sure.
Yeah.
There was definitely some thought.
That's me. That's me. I just hate the increase because I hate.
Yeah, and in my opinion, Wes, is they really didn't. They didn't really increase the parking or the beach tags all that much.
Yeah, it's just simply probably not going to change your world that much. In the end. So I think you hear it. It's one of those things like when you when you go into the city and like you pay like a lot for parking, you're like annoyed that you paid that much. You feel like you got kind of ripped off, but then you kind of move on after that. So I guess it's like people have that kind of thought in their head, but as long as you're not like charging like $25 on like a Tuesday when their parking lot's empty, I don't really think, people are, it'll be fine.
And they're not. Yeah. And next year it'll be forgotten and Dom will have settled down and everything will be fine.
Hey man, you're still going to charge $10 to go to the beach in the rain. So
yeah,
there you go. I'm just going to leave it at that. Well, Wes, man, we know you're super busy. We really appreciate your time tonight, especially, as you said, coming in on your busiest night where everyone's out here,
guys.
Getting in that last minute shopping, getting those Ocean City sweatshirts that they do need. Don't ever say they don't need them.
Yeah, very true. They definitely need
you got to make those memories. But we appreciate it. Thanks for being our first ever guest as well, too. And,
you guys having me for sure.
Oh, definitely. And we'll look to have you back on, after Labor Day to give us a good season recap and, let us know what you're hearing from everyone up on the boardwalk. So thank you. Good. And if you're up on the boardwalk anytime soon, stop in the surf mall, say what's up to Wes, and grab that Ocean City t-shirt that you definitely need.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Appreciate it.
Hey, take care. Great dude, man. That's
Yeah,
so nice of him to take
very
that time
good
to
dude.
come on and talk to us. And, like he said, he's probably going to go out there and has like 15 fires to put out, because it's that time. Everyone's just
Friday night on the boardwalk. Yep.
finishing up their pizza, finishing up their French fries, and, now it's
Finishing up
time.
their cheesesteaks from the promenade.
Oh, Drew, thank you for reminding me to mention that it was after our first football practice, our first practice in pads. I went up there. My
And
daughter
didn't invite me. I turned
listen.
you on to the place and you didn't invite me. Nice.
It was impromptu. I'm gonna say that my daughter is good friends with one of the owner's daughters, and I got a text message as practice was wrapping up. I'm going up to the promenade, and I'm reading this. It's like I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, you're going up the promenade because I know when she's up there, it's gonna take me at least an extra 20 minutes to get her. At least an extra 20 minutes to get her out of there. It ended up taking me an extra hour and a half.
Is that right?
To get her. Yeah, I don't think I got home till we left practice 7:30. I got home at 9, and I said to the G, our friend, I was like, G, you hook me up with some dinner, man. I'm not gonna go home and cook after this. And I asked for a cheesesteak. I met a very nice young gentleman who plays football at Ocean City High School, Duke, and he and a couple of his teammates hooked me up with a cheesesteak. And Drew, it was delicious. It was magical, to say the least.
It was Did you just say magical?
I will say it was magical. It was that good, Drew. It was. You said close second. I don't think it's a close second to Boyers. I think they're at that same level. 100%. It was delicious.
Well, you say that, and I think I might have mentioned to you that had I had the Promenade's cheesesteak last, as opposed to Boyer's last, that might have been number one for me.
And it's funny. I stopped by a buddy's house yesterday, and he and his wife were like, "Yo, we went to Boyer's and checked out their cheesesteaks." He's like, "They were banging." Like, so
yeah.
I don't know, Drew. People are listening to us. God bless them. God bless them. So, but no, man, it's this is it, man. It's the dog days of summer. So enjoy them, everyone. Drew, we haven't done dog of the day in a while, and I'm going to be selfish here and give it to my dog because it was my dog's birthday. She turned 5 the other day.
Oh, that's right. Benny told me that.
Yes. So Penny, our dog Penny, affectionately known as Penzerati and the Fee as well, too. She turned 5, and she's 5 and fluffy. That's what we're saying, 5 and fluffy. So shout out to her. I'll post some pictures of her. She is a mini Labradoodle, and she's cute as a button. And we're blessed to have such a loving, caring soul within our family. So, and she gets along really well with your dog. They actually play together, which is pretty cool.
They do. Yeah.
Drew and I have a habit of just randomly running into each other at Dog Beach. Like, it happens almost all the time. Like, literally. It happened night in Venice. Crazy. Night in Venice, we both showed up there.
That's right.
Like, hey, busiest night of the year. We're like, let's just all go to Dog Beach right now. So, but it's crazy, man. It's a good time. But thanks everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. Loving all the support we're getting. Merch shop is up and running. So check that out if you want to get a t-shirt with our new revamped logo on it. We also have women's t-shirts available as well too. And if you're not following us on Instagram, check us out there. We are the local OCNJ. That's our handle. We did break 100 followers, Drew. So yeah, 100 followers.
All right.
We got some
Is
traction.
it possible that my wife hit like 100 times?
No, that's not like this is followers. That's like individual people.
Oh, wow.
So she can't actually like us, follow us 100 times. But, that's cool. We're getting some people out there.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah. We're getting there, Drew. One viewer, one listener, one follower at a time. You can watch us on YouTube as well, too. There's a link to all that on our Instagram page. I set up a Facebook page, too, the OCNJ Local. So if you want on Facebook, you can follow us there as well, too. But we appreciate it, man. We love doing this. We have a great time, and we'll catch you on the next episode, right?
It's fun.
For your host, Dominic Doherty and Drew Fazy. I went backwards there. Look at that, Drew. I've been doing this.
We are your local guys.
We are local guys, and this has been the OCNJ Local, a production of the Fans First Network. Peace out, everybody.